Good evening. You join me on a dark and stormy night. There is a storm literally brewing outside, and I thought it would be a perfect opportunity to get into our PJs, get cozy, and I'm going to take you through, by request and popular demand, how I design my puppets. I just love making concept art. I've made it for every single puppet I've ever made, and it's such a good way of getting your ideas on paper and coming up with different things in the moment that can make your character really cool. This is going to be, hopefully, incredibly useful and relaxing for you. So join me as I teach you how I design my puppets. Grab a cup of tea, stick your comfies on, and we'll get into it. Also get a pen and pad. I have to say, there is something just wonderful about being on a sofa this time instead of at my desk. I feel serene, I feel comfortable. I have had a few inquiries as to how I design my characters. I'm first gonna kind of play about, make some random characters, and from there I'm then gonna go into what we're potentially making next and show you how I've come up with it. I haven't rehearsed this at all. I'm going off the cuff and we're gonna design from scratch some puppets together. I've got my iPad here with my iPad pen, and that is what I use to make my puppets, just because I have a bit of a wobbly hand and sometimes I find it harder to do straight lines and circles and all of that. You're more than welcome to just use the old-fashioned way of a pencil and a bit of paper. This needs no fanciness, no gizmos. Don't feel like you have to buy anything, get any apps, download any of this. I kind of like to cheat my way around designing my characters. So I've got my iPad here and I'm gonna try, this is fun, I'm gonna try and do that fun thing where you record your screen. I feel like an old biddy. Okay, so the screen is recording and you can see my lovely apps here. This app here is called Procreate, and that is the app that I use to draw usually. So I'm gonna go into that. We've got some examples here of concept arts I've come up with, the clown that we were thinking about, all these different designs, and this is kind of just where I put things that are in my mind. Always back up your programs if you are drawing digitally, and make sure there's no fires if you're drawing physically. I'm going to give you a couple of examples. This week I was asked to design a puppet called Ramona by my friend John, who is a filmmaker. He needs it for a film, and the brief was a sort of edgy, fun character in the colours of blue, purple and pink, and I came up with a couple of examples. This is the first example I came up with of Ramona. You can see that she's got some kind of whispery hair. And truth be told, I was planning on using leftover wool for Betsy on her because I want this to be as cheap as possible. And then the second one is this one, a little bit more pinky and with a little bit of a bob cut, and this is the one that was chosen. So I'm going to be making Ramona very soon, but I'm going to show you how I kind of went to do that. So I'm going to get a new picture here, and I'm going to immediately change the background to a bit of a darker colour, just because I find if it's white, the colours don't pop as much. The first step is to start with the shape of your puppet. Now, hopefully, you'll have a bit of an idea on the head shape / skull pattern that you're planning to use. I'm just going to go for examples here today with a bog standard oval shape that I've used for Betsy's head, but you can use any shape you want. Start with that shape as your base. So for me, it's going to be an oval today. So I'm going to just start by drawing my oval out here. That is a bit eggy. We can fix it. And using the ellipsis tool, this is what I love about drawing digitally. I can fix every problem that I make. So I've started here and I've kind of widened out that oval shape a little bit. And if I kind of come up with a little bit of a sort of a Ramona example for now, I know she's very punky and I know the colours that she's going to be. So with that, we can already kind of get like a sense of expression. But for now, I'm just going to lay out the baseline and I'm going to draw either side two little C shapes, kind of like this. If your ears are different shapes to this, then draw that. But this is how I just do the base of it. And then it doesn't have to be even because it is just a concept art sketch and you are just coming up with ideas. You can then judge if it's worth it. If it's worth all the effort that you're going to put in making it, this is how you judge that. So now I've got my little sort of C shapes here. I'm just going to put a little line on each side that sort of mimics the inside of an ear. Again, I don't really like doing things very accurately, so this is kind of just how I do it now, bog standard. And I know that Ramona is a little bit punky, a little bit fun, so I'm going to do her some earrings, and all I'm going to do for that is bring that little C shape through the ear, and as if it's going up through the back of the ear again, and make it go behind the ear. And then when we've got this line, I'm just going to rub that out so it kind of looks like I planned for an earring to go there. And then I'm going to continue that line all the way in. So you can see now that she's got a little earring, which is kind of nice. And I'm going to put another little one at the top because I've always wanted one of those, you know, like up here. I would love one day. I just think they look really cool. So I'm going to give Ramona one. So I'm just going to do the same thing again. 2 little kind of C shapes going back behind the ear, and then I'm going to rub out where that earring goes so that she kind of has something like this. And then I might as well just give her a little stud, and if you hold down on this app you can kind of get to like making perfect little circles. So I'm just going to put that there, and then already she's kind of got like this punky attitude. I'm going to make a new layer because I want to be able to move these if I so feel like it. I'm also going to have a sip of my tea because this is a relaxed session. You better be relaxing in there. And I'm going to basically draw the eyes next. The eyes give us so much of a character, and especially with the way that I make my eyes, which is with felt balls, I kind of, as I add eyelids, you can add such expression with eyelids. You can make them angry, scared, surprised, not bothered, and I think the option I want to go for with Ramona is the unbothered look. So I'm going to show you how I do that. I've got my new layer here. I'm going to keep my pen black so that I've got my outline, and I'm going to draw a circle shape just like this. And if you press on the lips you can turn it into a circle. I might have her eyes just a bit lower because I kind of want to factor in a fringe should I decide to give her one. So I'm just for now going to put that there like that, and then I'm going to go around it and hold my pen down again, and I'm just going to smallen that down until it's the same size as the eye that we've drawn already. And then I'm going to drag it over. I don't do things very neatly, so I'm kind of just roughly seeing, oh yeah, that kind of looks even. My puppet eyes are very simple. I've always kind of done the same sort of style, and it is this. I just do a line straight across, straighten that out, and then I'm going to do another line for the bottom eyelids, just straight across like this. And then I'm going to make my brush a little bit bigger, and I'm going to do another straight line and edit that so that it sits exactly where I want it to. And I'm going to do the same for the bottom as well. So I've got these 2 lines here, which are lovely, and then I'm just going to do a big sort of half circle, and then I'm going to refine that shape, and I'm just going to fill in that line because the brush has kind of taken some of that away. And there you go, you've got like already you've got the basis of an unenthusiastic looking puppet. Rinse and repeat that. Now what you could do as well is just make one eye, copy and paste it, but I quite like drawing them, so I'm just going to do that one more time, just like that. Do you see we've got some really unenthusiastic looking eyes for a puppet that is not bothered, and that is the emotions that I wanted Ramona to give you as you look at her. So now I'm going to think about the nose, and for that I kind of love the bigger the better, and like obnoxious shapes and really unique shapes. Obviously where puppets are concerned you can make any shape you want, so I'm going to try out a few different shapes, just messing around and seeing what kind of shape roughly works best with her. Really, a button makes her look kind of a bit like a toddler or a baby, so I think I'm gonna have to go with a little bit of a bigger shape than that. Oh, I like that. I think I like that kind of like in the center of the face, so the eyes are below it. I kind of like that sort of dynamic there. And then, because she's a little bit punky, I'm just going to do a classic septum piercing, which is literally, once again, just like the ears, just 2 little circles, that's all it takes. She's coming along swimmingly. And then she needs some eyebrows as well. So I'm trying to think about, I think I want those eyebrows to be straight, just to sort of add to that kind of very unimpressed expression that we're going for. So I'm going to try and do something like that, but I kind of think I want them a little bit skinny, like sort of like a 1920s-ish. Okay, something just a little bit like that, something quite small, and then maybe I could add a little dash. People that are cool have those, don't they? Little dashes in their eyebrows. That's kind of fun. And then on the other side, I'll just give her an eyebrow that's complete and not shaven. So now we've got those eyebrows in place, and again, they are sisters, not twins, but it really doesn't matter. I'm just going to put the fringe in for now so that I can kind of block it off. So I'm just making some different shapes and bringing that hair all the way down. And as I go, I'm just adding little bits on the side so that we've got something on the face. And for now, just because I'm only doing the head, I'm not doing a neck or anything, I'm just going to bring that hair all the way down, and then I'm going to rub out the head part so that we can't see the lines underneath the hair that we've now drawn. I've gone for a very like whimsy sort of short fringe. Maybe it's because I got my fringe cut today, but like a short fringe, and then like a long sort of straight gothic type thing with maybe like a shaved side. All of this is just playing around. I haven't planned, Ramona, I haven't planned this or how it's going to go, and that is so much the fun of it. So I've taken those lines away, and this is what we've got at the moment, and then I'm kind of just going to add, this is a style preference moment here, I'm just going to add, because I really love how they look, just kind of little cheek circles. I do it with most of my drawings, and I just really like how it looks. I just think it's really sweet. I don't usually include them in my puppets, but that is purely because I forget. But in the moment, as I design, I just think they're really, really fun. So I've got my base here, and now I'm going to add the colour. This is the really fun part. So I'm going to add another layer behind my sketches, and I'm just going to try some bits out. Now I know the colour scheme that has been requested by the customer, and that is blue, purple and pink. So I'm going to try some things, and this time I think I'm going to give her sort of dark blue skin. So I'm just going to pick a blue that I like the look of and just go for it. And I'm just going to start by drawing a big circle and trying to line it up with the face, and then I'm just going to fill that in with the colour. And kind of then from there, just go around the edges and get any bit that I've missed. All we're doing at the moment is adding the base colour, and then the shading will come on top of that, which will really kind of make it pop. If you like to keep you poised and to kind of give you an idea of where this is going, I could show you what we're going to be making next. I've kept it a secret for a long time, and I've potentially hinted about it as well, but I'll take you to what we're going to make next to kind of show you the shading that we're going to be doing on our character. So here he is. Oh, he's so cute. Okay, so I thought that our next puppet could be a dragon, and I tell you for why. I've had some requests to do different puppet shapes for heads. One of those requests was a muzzle skull, something with a muzzle on the side so that you can make it into an animal or creature. And it just so happened that not too long ago I made a dinosaur puppet called Rex, who I loved and adored, and because of him I came up with a few designs for different dinosaurs. I came up with 3 designs. I came up with a Triceratops, a Brontosaurus and a T-Rex, and the Brontosaurus was chosen, and that is who Rex became. But I had all these other little designs that weren't going anywhere, so I adapted them and I turned it into a dragon, and here he is. So not only do we get a muzzle out of him, but we also get a tail that we have to make, horns that we have to make, and his wings, which are really the most impressive part. I think I also drew him when I was quite sleepy and I was in my pyjamas, as I am now. So I gave him pyjamas of his own, and I also designed a little cuddly toy that we could make for him as well, so he can sit there with his cuddly toy. So I thought, I don't have a name for him yet, and you're more than welcome to suggest names should you so wish, but I just thought a sleepy little dragon would be a really cool idea. But anyway, you can see here that I've kind of got all these different shadings in each colour, and that is what we're going to add once we've done our block colour. If I take his shadings away, you can see, apart from the hat, because I can't figure out which layer that's on, you can see sort of the bare bones of what's behind him. So first we colour block our shape, and then we add the shadows, and then we add the light. I'm not very good at this, so always when I add shadows, they seem to all come from different directions, and it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I just kind of shadow what looks good for that particular body part at the time, and less so the sort of technique of actually having a point of light in your drawing and then putting it everywhere else. But again, I don't really care about that. I'm not here for finesse, I'm here for the vibe, so I can get a little sense of what I'm going to be doing. But I thought it would be so cute if he had little PJs of his own and a little nightcap just like Scrooge himself, and pyjamas. I just thought it'd be really sweet, quite frankly. It's kind of inconvenient with horns and a tail, and I didn't think that part through, but we're going to make it work, and I think this will be our next puppet, which I'm really excited about. And it won't be too long before we do that, because we are nearly at the end of our roads with the other puppets. So I'll go back to our little character here. I think I'm going to do a pink nose, so I'm going to get a new layer, and I'm going to get that fuchsia pink that we know and love, and I'm just going to do the same thing. So I'm going to do a big version of that shape, fill that in, and just get the basics kind of covered, and then we can go around the edge and refine it. I'm going to make the hair purple, and I'm also going to make the eyes purple as if she's kind of got eyeshadow on, that kind of thing. Start with getting a white for her eyes, and I'm just going to do a rectangle here, little curved rectangle to go in this section, and then I'm going to fill that in, and then I'm going to get my purple and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to get that shape just like this, and then I'm going to rinse and repeat that for the other eye as well, and then I'm going to do the cheeks. So I'm just going to do the same thing, circle it out. If you're using pencils, colour it in. You can make great characters just by breaking it down into shapes. Think of it less as a face and just break it down. A circle for the eyes, a weird shape for the nose, a big oval for the head, C shapes for the ears, and kind of just bring it back. I think she's more of a silver girly than she is a gold girly by the looks of her. I don't know why, I just think those colours work a little bit better together because they're kind of like cold, moonier sort of colours. So I think silver is going to do wonders on her. Okay, so I've got these, and then I'm going to do my hair last, which is also going to be purple. I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to go, as we've done, just do like a basic starter shape and fill it in so that I can get a sense of it. And I'm going to have to make it into 2 layers, one behind the blue face and one in front of, for those little wispy bits at the edge here. So now I've done what you may call the undercarriage of the hair. I'm just going to do a new layer in front of the blue face so that I can do the hair that's on the front. We've got our basic shapes here. We've got our basic colours and our basic shapes, and the next step now is to do the fun part, which is shading. So I'm going to, above every shape, make a new layer, and I'm going to select clipping mask, and that's going to make sure that everything we do is locked into the shape that's below it. I'm going to start with the face. So with this blue here, I'm going to get it back, and I'm just going to make a little bit of a darker colour, that same blue, just a darker shade of it, and I'm going to start going around and adding my shading. So first of all, I'm just going to add some little eye bags to her character here, because I think she would really look quite nice with them. And you can see already how that kind of pops it off the screen. So I'm just going to keep doing that, and I can hold down that circle that I've drawn for it to snap and get made a little bit nicer. And I'm also going to add shading around the nose as well. So to do that, I might make my brush a little bit bigger, and then I'm just going to go all the way around, kind of find the angle that's right for me. Underneath as well, I'm also going to shade the septum piercing so that it's got a little bit of a backing, just like that. And then I'm going to go underneath the hair as well, and because it's clipped, you can see how it's only drawing on the face, if that makes any sense, just as an example. Bring that shading across, kind of following the shape of the hair that I've set in place so that it's kind of like a shadow underneath the fringe. And then I'm going to send it down all the way to the side, just like this. And then I'm adding shading to the ear as well, so that it's kind of got a little bit of dimension, just like that. And you can see already how it's changed her so much. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of shading to her chin as well. And I'm just going to do shading for her little cheekies. So I've done those little bits on her face, and already we've seen such a dramatic difference. I might add as well just a couple of little freckles, just some little bits. Oh, that looks actually quite sweet. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same for her nose. So I'm going to make another layer on top, create clipping mask, take that colour of pink, check that I'm still screen recording, which I am. And then I'm going to drag that pink just so it's a little bit darker, and I'm going to begin shading that nose. Just what a difference that makes. Just a little dash of colour kind of messes with your brain, and it just makes it look so much better. I think on this layer as well are the cheeks, so I'm going to add some definition to that. And then I'm going to draw a C shape made of shading inside the cavity. And then I'm going to go onto the eyes and do the same thing. And then where this white part is concerned, I'm actually going to go on top of the black bit that I've drawn and just make some nice little light reflecting bits, because sometimes on my puppets I actually do get little white bits of felt and make that sort of pop on the eye. So I'm just going to draw that in, which I think look quite nice. Basically kind of wherever the wind takes me with this bit, because it is quite a large area. And immediately, because I've got this big face here, I'm just going to do a giant C underneath it, and then I'm just going to go with kind of those shapes that I've marked out for the direction of the hair. It just adds a little bit more something something and gives it a little bit of definition. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. And then we're going to go back in with the lighter parts. So I'm going to go basically on every single bit that I've done and do the same thing but opposite. So get that blue that the face is, bring that up so we've got a lighter version of it, and just get to work. I'm just marking out little shapes kind of wherever I want. It doesn't really make a lot of sense, especially on the hair. It kind of makes it just look a little bit glossy. I think a lot of this bit as well is artistic expression because it doesn't look necessarily how the fabric will look, but I just really like how glossy it kind of makes the finish in some ways. See, something like that, and then already you've got so much more definition to it than if it was to just be a 2D thing. And you could say that I've gone overboard on the shading, because I absolutely have, but I just really enjoy it. So this is my third version of Ramona here that I've come up with you. We've got version 1 and version 2. Version 2 is the one that's been chosen by the client, and that is the one that I'm going to be making. And if I look through some of my other bits as well, you can see how even with this cupcake design here, this is what I kind of envisioned for what Clive is going to turn out to be. It's an absolutely god-awful creepy rendition, but this is the baseline of what I made. It doesn't even have to be shaded. It doesn't have to be anything. I think the most important thing when being creative and wanting to give anything like this a go is just to go for it and get your ideas out on paper. He's not even shaded, he looks god-awful, but you can kind of get the idea because I wanted to incorporate the melon shape that we made and I wanted to see how that would best work, so I had to visualize it. It doesn't have to be anything amazing. When we made that eyebrow mechanism together, this is the rough sketch I did for the idea of the head that I was going to use to show you how that works. And then this obviously is a clown that we haven't made yet, which I will probably make at some point in the future because I do think he's amazing, but he's also terrifying, so I need to get over that. And even Dr. Cecil had his own artwork to begin with, and they're all different. They're all really weird, they're all really strange, but I got them out into the ether, and I strongly encourage you to do that as well. Don't be afraid if it looks bad, because a lot of these look bad as well, but that was the point. The point is to just have some ideas and go from there. Really kind of try and flesh out these characters and see how they're going to actually be brought to life in a logistical way. So I hope you enjoyed this little sit down chat with me today, and I hope it kind of gives you the freedom to try new things and do a little bit of dabbling here and there and seeing what you can come up with. Thank you so much for joining me on this relaxed session. If you did find this relaxing or enjoyable in any way, please subscribe and ring that bell so that you can be told when we next make another session. I'm very reluctant to go back to my desk next week. This was really nice. I got to be in my jammies, have a chill out, take an evening to yourself and just dabble about with some cool designs and go from there. No pressure, no rush. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you in the next one. Goodbye.